What up, it's your boy Tank, and you are now tuned in to the...
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into On Air with David Swain, your one and only rock star on the mic. Yes, right here, right now, we got R&B recording artist Tank. And if you guys don't know, Tank is about to drop a new album called Sex, Love, and Pain 2, which you guys better get on January 22nd because it's just a dope, another R&B masterpiece from Tank, and he's with us. What's going on, Tank?
Man, what's going on? I like that intro, too. Thank you for that. That's real nice. I'm going to have to record that and use it for my show.
No doubt. I definitely have to send it to you because, man, you have been doing phenomenal, like, with R&B. Just got to tell you, like, you deserve just that intro right there. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
No doubt. So, new album's about to come out on January 22nd, Sex, Love, and Pain 2. I'm excited about the project because my favorite song on the project so far is You Don't Know, which features Wale. For the people that haven't heard the record, tell them about, the record and how you got inspired with that track.
Well, that record right there, man, is a special record because, I'm, even as I've been in this game as long as I have, I'm still learning, you know what I mean? I'm still, appreciating, when people come along and do great things, you know what I mean? Other producers and other writers and all of these things. And this was a moment where, I called my little bro, Eric Bellinger. I said, man, I'm working on this album, man. I know you got something for me. And, for people who don't know, Eric Bellinger used to be signed to me when he was 15 years old. He was part of a group called O&E. So, I've been working with Eric, proud of his success and what he's become and what he's continuing to grow into. So, it was easy for me to get him over there. And when he played this record, You Don't Know, I was like, ooh, that sounds like it's kind of a nice record. I looked at him, I said, it's kind of a nice record. Just leave it. I'm gonna try to put my vocals on it and see how it comes out. You know what I mean? And then when we left out, I looked at my manager and said, ooh, we got one! We got it! I didn't want to be too excited, you know what I mean, with him there because he could easily take the song back and sing it himself. I wanted to play it down a little bit so that he'd give it to me. And he blessed me with this record, man. And once I sang the record, I said, in terms of how I speak to women and relate to them, there's only one guy that'll fit on this record, and that's Wale. It's the only person that makes it. And, I hit Wale day and night until I heard back from him. You know what I mean? To get on this record, man. We got on the phone and talked about it. He's like, I love the record. I'm on it. I got you. And it went from there, man, and to calling Mike Ho and saying, hey, man, we got to shoot a great visual. Not a typical visual because it's not a typical song. Like, we went back and got Patti LaBelle. You know what I mean? We got her permission to use a classic, a staple in R&B music, and the visual has to represent that. So, we wanted to shoot something so far against everything else that's being shot right now. You know what I mean? Not no Instagram model video shoot, not no, you know what I'm saying, nothing degrading, but just something uplifting and powerful. And letting women know that, you're just as beautiful and sexy with your clothes on as you know what I'm saying, as you are with them off. So we wanted to do something totally different with this record, and it's made a really, really big impact for us.
Absolutely. And you just sparked two things. I'm going to say one thought, and then I'm going to let you respond because, you just really sparked the whole thought in my head. The fact that you mentioned Eric and, working with him, he's a good friend to the show. And the fact that I had mentioned you and him, really doing R&B-wise, how do you feel about, seeing his growth from, when you guys first started working together to, now to, see him really blossom and become a brand of his own? Because, like I said, y'all are the only two that are really doing it for male R&B wise.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. I just think that things change and things evolve. To me, Eric Bellinger represents the evolution of R&B and kind of where R&B is now. Eric Bellinger is a great singer, a great performer, a great songwriter, a great producer, all of those things. I mean, he learned under all of us, under all of us old school cats. So he has those tools and all of that equipment available. But he's also channeling the new school of R&B. You know what I mean? The new listeners, the new young vibe. You know what I'm saying? Which is excellent, because we need a representation, for us right now, somebody who's going to carry on the legacy of guys who can actually do it all. You know what I mean? And he's one of those guys. And I think people are going to be very, very surprised. And they are very, very surprised when they go see him live in concert and they hear this kid shut it down. You know what I mean? Because it started, it started when he was 15, and I saw a lot of cool things in him. And, the blessing in return was he saw a lot of great qualities in me, and allowing me to be his mentor and me to be his label for the moment and all of those things. So, it just kind of runs hand in hand with good talent and good people, man. We just find a way to always come together and always uplift each other, always try to make each other better, and always try to collaborate on good music.
And I like the fact that you even also mentioned, making sure like this video really captured, true good essence of women, and not like, the degrading stuff that we see on Instagram. And that's what I always like about, like, when you put out your projects, you're always about, showing that women, like, this is how it should be. Don't go out there degrading yourself, because it's not a good look. Like, you can be pretty with your clothes on, clothes off, but don't do it in an unflattering situation.
Absolutely. And I think it's also our responsibility as men to make them feel beautiful in these spaces. You know what I mean? It's healthy for a woman to seek the attention of a man. It's healthy for a woman to want to feel beautiful and want to feel desired and all of these things. And so we have to also paint the picture that these are the spaces and these are the ways that you are still beautiful to us. You know what I mean? Because they look to it from us. We are the men. We are the head of the household. We are, this reigns true, all the way across the board. So we have to first set that example. And I promise you, once the women feel that way, once they feel like men appreciate them just as much with their clothes on as they do with them off, then we will definitely see that change. We'll definitely see, women going old school, putting on real clothes and not just, a tube dress, and you know what I mean? Like they'll really get dressed up and really take pride in that. So that's what we're getting back to. It's grown man business. It's grown man season.
That's what it's got to be about.
I'm standing here with one of my mentors right now. I'm standing here with the Godfather right now. I'm not going to say his name, but I just ran into him, and I mean, he feels the same way. I mean,
most definitely. And with this album, what was the most like rewarding part, would you say, about recording this project versus the previous works that you have released? Well,
I'll tell you what's great about this project, about the first Sex, Love, and Pain project, and even about my last project. That the energy that runs the same with those projects is that I'm just making music. I'm just having fun. I'm not following no rules. I'm not thinking about what radio station is going to do this, or what blog is going to write that, or what fan is going to say this, or what my core audience, or who. Like, I'm allowing myself to evolve into whatever God wants me to be through the experiences that He's taken me and the journeys He's taken me on, and I'm just making music about it. It's unapologetic. I don't have no apologies to anybody for this music that I'm making. This is what I love to do. This is what's in my heart, and I'm just pouring out my heart and my soul musically. And prayerfully, people can appreciate it. On the other hand, respect it, and then on the other hand, enjoy it.
Most definitely, and I have to like strongly agree with that, because like when it comes to your music, like you just say exactly what you're feeling and what that track is, what it's saying to you, and it doesn't have to be, like. You shouldn't feel like, you have to, apologize for how it is, because, the music is great. Like, you speak for the men, you speak for the women. Like, you write lyrics for, like, the perfect representation of anybody who's ever going through something within love or just in life, period.
Absolutely. And it's for people like me, and for people who are not like me to get the perspective on people like me. And, that perspective is not 100%. You know what I mean? It's not every billion person of the world that feels this way. But, I'm going to catch a few of them. I'm going to catch a few of them that understand it the way I do, and a few more that that'll come into the light and say, you know what, I never thought of it that way. That's kind of cool. Let me get into what he's saying and what he's preaching. Let me see what that is. And that's just what this journey is all about. That's what this information is for. That's what this life is for. It's to share it. This is our means of sharing our life's information. And we pray that it sells a whole lot, but we pray that more so that they understand it more. Not just buying it, but understand it, feel it, understand what it is, get into it. I'll take 100,000 people that really get it and really understand it and really apply it versus 1 million people that just buy it and don't even care.
And let me ask you, how do you feel as far as the younger generation, how, publicly they display love with their partner? How do you feel about, like, just seeing how people are about in public and even on social media? Because it's a different way that we're doing it now.
It's just not like it used to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's because everything is moving at light speed. Everything is moving at the click of a button. Everything is moving. I mean, the instant gratification at this point it comes so fast and it's such a high that when people aren't being gratified in that way, you know what I mean, then they lose interest. And that's within our relationships. That's within everything. And so it translates into everything. It even translates into love. You know what I mean? It used to be, love was a thing that was grown over time. It was a thing that, it took time to develop. There were the nuances of understanding a person or understanding of people or, what they liked, what they didn't like, and then going through a couple of things, getting some things wrong, getting some things right in order to get to the space to where you had this ultimate experience. And now everybody just wants that ultimate experience right now. As soon as they meet you, as soon as they post a picture, they want 1,000 likes. As soon as they meet you at the club, they want to take you home. As soon as you go out on your first date, you're dating, you're together, you're in a relationship, and it's these things are happening so fast that nothing has time to develop. So since it has no time to develop, it has no time to really establish a true foundation. So when anything comes along to test it, it shakes, it crumbles, and it falls, and it's on to the next. And so you have a bunch of damaged souls and damaged spirits with damaged experiences roaming around, roaming the earth and roaming the universe, still trying to find love. They still don't know what it is. They still haven't figured it out yet. And, it's up to us. It's up to us, those that know, those who've been there, those who are still there, to remind them, to continue to remind them, to continue to pour into them. I don't blame the kids nowadays because, I can honestly say we don't have enough people reaching back. Just when I was coming up, you know what I mean? There was no older R&B cat that saw me coming up doing my thing that was like, you know what, I need to sit you down and talk to you and, and tell you what this is. The closest person that I had to that who was actually getting to the point to where he was, starting to really put me up on game and really tell me about stuff was the late Gerald Levert. You know what I mean? Every time he would see me, he would stop me and speak to me and say, son, you got something. You got something. I'm telling you right now. And let me tell you a couple things. And he drops some knowledge on me, drops some love into my heart. We don't have that. We don't have that. And it's bigger than just music. We don't have it as a community. And so it's a bigger issue. It's bigger than entertainment. It's bigger than music. It's bigger than all of that because there are no more families. That's where the love came from. There are no more villages that raised all the children. You know what I mean? That like that's where it all came from. You know what I mean? Because people are only writing and singing and expressing their experiences. This is what they're singing and writing about, how they're producing it and how they're portraying it. It's not just coming out of the blue sky. This is what they're living. They're living in spaces with no love. They're living in spaces with no affection. They're living in spaces with no fathers and no mothers and no grandmothers and no great-grandmothers and no uncles and no – like, this is really happening. So the music reflects it. I'm sorry, I get really deep, but that's where it is, man. And we got we we, the older generation, we have to do something about it.
No, definitely. Like, you just spoke, like, my whole life. Like, I'll even tell you, I'm working on, working on my music, and a lot of those things that you just touched on right now is, like, what I'm writing about, like, the fact of not having a father, not having a family, not having love and affection. Like, this stuff is true, and I don't think a lot of younger people actually get it. I feel like they know what happens, but they're not tapping into their hearts and being like, okay, this is what's happening, but this is how I have to change it so that it's not happening again, or so that that I'm not putting myself in a love situation where it's toxic. It's killing me. I'm killing myself.
Right, but it's just the object of not knowing. You know what I mean? What happens is you just wake up one day and realize that you've taken so many ill-advised left and right turns that you are lost. That's how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You don't walk into it knowing you're going to get lost. You just wake up one day and realize you are lost.
That is the truth. See, that's why I love our conversations, Tank, every time we connect, because you always just drop facts, and people need to hear this that are, tuned into my show, just R&B fans, just people of life, like, they need to actually hear this because it's the truth.
Yeah, it's not the truth. It's but my music is just a small piece of it, and I love promoting my music and my album and date and my TV shows and all of this good stuff, but I also want people to understand the energy behind what I do, why I'm able to do what I do, or how I grew into what I do. You know what I mean? And understand that experience, because that's going to help you understand and appreciate the music that much more.
Speaking of music, like, the music on this album is very diverse. I love Birthday with Chris Brown, Sage, and Saya. Like, that's very, when I first heard it, I was like, yo, this record is out of control. Like, I don't know where Tank, what space he is in when he writes this stuff, but it's like, I admire it. Like, this record has to be, like, my favorite that I'm listening to right now. Like, what space were you in, like, creatively going in for this record?
You know what? It's funny. It's because I was just like, I've been moving around a lot, and I'm a scientist. Like, when it comes to music, like, I'm just always just like, I'll hear the song, but then I'm listening to other things, and I'm watching people's reactions to different things in different parts of the song. Because I'm the producer, I'm the singer, I'm the songwriter, I'm the musician, I'm the performer, I'm all of these things wrapped into one. So when I'm making music for the entire experience.
Right.
And so this birthday song, how do we just say it? Like, how do we just like not beat around the bush? Like, how do we just say it? And my brother Valentine was like, well, let's just say it's your birthday. It's as simple as that sounds. Like, if you're in a group and if you're in a group writing session and somebody just throws out there, yeah, it's your birthday. Most people in the writing session is like, but we gotta be more clever. We gotta be smarter than that, or we gotta dig deeper. And it's like, but that's what it is. It's your birthday. Like, when it's your birthday, when that day comes, you get about 1,000 phone calls, and everybody says, happy birthday. It ain't, you may get one or two people to say, well, we like to bless the quasars and the unistars for coming together and enlightening the planet to give birth to a light that represents. I mean, people don't call and say all that. They say happy birthday. And I say, you know what? Let's just sing it. Girl, it's your birthday in there tonight. Girl, it's your birthday. That's it. Being that simple is being just as profound as well. They work hand in hand. And when we dropped this record, when we dropped it online, I mean, people have been going crazy. Like you got people that are like, oh my God, I love this new Tank. And then you got people that are like, oh my God, who is Tank? So it's working, man.
No, that's incredible that, like, it really has had that impact. In fact, and people even saying, like, who's Tank? Because people got to know, like, R&B fans, the 90s like that, born in 93, such as myself, they would know that it did start with your music, like the songs that you wrote and the songs that you put out, period. Like, it did start with Tank. So it's good to see that people are, becoming familiar with your music, being older, younger, because, like I said, like, you really write bangers and you touch people's lives in different ways where you may know it and you may not know, but I'm glad that people are reacting to the record, because when I heard, I was like, what the fuck? Like, Tank just went off on this track. I was like, yo, so-and-so, download, check it out now, pre-order. Like, I kept seeing it within that whole moment, because, like, every time I hear your records, I'm like, okay, what's Tank going to give? Because I look at the title first. I'm like, in depth with the titles. I'm like, okay, it's going to be fast, it's going to be slow. And something told me, Tank is about to have us turn up one good time, and it's going to just go.
One good time.
Yeah, it was just
one
like,
good time. And all we need is one.
Absolutely, Tank. And let's talk about Born Again Version and how you were able to, take your own personal experience with life and bring it to your character.
The cool thing about it is that, I was raised by women, and strong men who respected women, so the idea of my role, kind of like, understanding what Jenna is and her walk with being a born again virgin, still trying to find ways to connect with her and still liking her, still being involved with her, and just that level of respect. Period. That's kind of me. That's what my music is based on. That's what my life is based on. And so it's kind of easy to tap into that part of it. For a man, period, it's not easy, to be abstinent. And be with a woman but I can respect it, because I understand respecting women, and their choices and their decisions. So I put a lot of that into it, and it works well. The chemistry works well with all the ladies, on the show. Because on the show, when I show up to set, I'm not Tank, I'm not the star, I'm the only male on the show. And
right.
There are three beautiful young ladies who I'm in charge of, who I need to make sure are okay and well taken care of, and that's my job.
And I gotta say, I'm loving the second season so far. It's definitely like one of my favorite shows that I watch, besides watching the Crazy Love and Hip Hop. But this show really is, like, when I first saw the first episode, I was like, man, this is a different, approach of just life. It was just like a mind opening, because after, seeing a whole bunch of ratchetness on television, on Instagram, you need something that's like very clean slated and, giving the positive aspects of love.
Right, absolutely. It's just a different perspective, and it's something that people probably weren't talking about, or probably were scared to talk about, or, anything. But we've given them a space. We've given them a voice and an opportunity to say, hey, this is kind of cool, that, in a space where everybody's trying to get sex, we actually have a show where we're trying to abstain from it. And so that's pretty awesome.
Well, thanks so much again for this conversation, this interview. Just these gems. Like, I really appreciate, you coming on the show and just, being able to chat with us again about the album, and just everything that you're doing, because, like, people just got to know that, these projects are out there and they need to download the album.
Yes, sir.
On the 22nd.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, man. I need to let them know just as bad as you need me to let them know. So I'm rolling with you.
Absolutely. Thanks. So just in case people don't already follow you on social media, let them know real quick where they can follow you.
Follow me at The Real Tank on everything. The Real Tank on everything, and then on the Snapchat, if you want to hit me on the Snap, that's TEEZY42, TEEZY 42. Holla at your boy all the time, every time, all the time.
I got to add you on Snapchat because I just got my thing popping, so I definitely go on there.
Oh, yeah. Get on there with me. I'm on there.
Most definitely. Well, Tank, thanks so much again. I definitely appreciate you, man, always.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doctor, as always.
What up, it's your boy Tank, and you are now tuned in to the